And Bob, you can do the intro today because I'm pissed off.
Welcome to the Salt and Sauce podcast. I welcome you all to discuss the most recent Hibs and Hearts results. So, um, welcome.
Yeah, well, I'll jump in with the boring stuff then and do the sponsors. That's probably going to be the most exciting part for me. First shout out will go to AW Decor, a painting and decorating firm based here in Edinburgh. So if you're ever needing anything done around the house, give those guys a shout. And Robert, our other sponsor.
Mint box removal. So, anyone needing any removals done, house, office, these guys are really good. So, give them a shout.
That's great. You'll see their details on the screen there. But Bob, this is it's your pod, I think, again this week. On you go.
I think it is. I think it is. Well, I said in the preview to Hibs going to Ibrox that there was a head in the heart, and the heart prediction actually came through, which was again, I wasn't overly surprised, but to go to Ibrox and put on the professional performance we did. Again, we didn't have to be at our best. We took our chances. We did ride our luck at times when they hit the bar and things, and Dessers missed another one as well, which you maybe don't get away with against the likes of Celtic,
No.
but we rode a lot, but we defended really well, and every one of those players were outstanding. Like so Levitt was, he was like a player reborn. Obita was really good. Um, just all round, Boyle was a constant menace.
Mm.
All round, I was just really, really happy. Smith produced saves when we needed him to. And again, we had the likes of Rocky Bashiri, Iredale, really calm, composed on the ball, and throwing themselves into kind of blocks when we needed them to as well. So, as Gray said, it was a complete performance that you could dream of going to Ibrox and getting a result there, because although their season's kind of over in terms of domestically, those
Mm.
players should have been playing for European places against
Oh,
Atletico on Thursday.
any game really. I mean, yep, I mean that certainly, but any game you want to win, that's just how it goes, you know. They
And
should
as you
be playing
say,
good football.
there's a rivalry as well with Hibs and Rangers as well, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that wasn't lost on the likes of Barry Ferguson and the Scottish Rangers players anyway. But he was saying there's just not enough players there that have um, like Hibs outfought Rangers, they outplayed them, they wanted it more, and that's pretty damning to say that about your team.
I was there was actually so many things I was thinking about with the Hibs Rangers game that you're right. Hibs were efficient with their chances. Not that even then I was going to come on and say things like that and talk about how Rangers had chances as well and missed them, but I thought I don't want to sound like a Hearts fan that's saying Hibs got lucky because you didn't get lucky. It was fully deserved,
Mm.
100%. But you're right. You're never or certainly maybe one in a million, you're going to go to Ibrox or Celtic Park and win by like outplaying them and having over 50% possession and scoring 2 out of 8 chances or something like that. You need to score your 2 chances you get
Yeah,
and hope that they do have one where they hit the bar and Dessers is putting them out for throws and things like that. But I mean, he even had the other side of it, like Butland's had a shocker with a Levitt goal. It's a
oh,
decent,
it's a shocker.
it's a
Yeah,
decent strike, but it never in a million years should that be a goal. Um, but you take that and people talk about earning luck. I honestly thought Hibs were really really good
yeah,
at what they needed to be good at on the day.
yeah.
And it's just I said this a few maybe last week or the week before. Like it's the one thing Hearts haven't done for ages is go to Glasgow and have a go and score some goals and win. And we've had a couple of results here and there, but Hibs are doing it a lot more often than we ever. Queens Park are doing it more often than we are. Um,
I think what's
guys.
changed between kind of ourselves now than at the start of the season is we have a solid base. We've a keeper who again is making the saves. He was coming out and commanding his box, and then we've got the right balance now in the defence and the midfield, so that we can sit in as we had to against Rangers at times, as we
Yeah.
had to against Celtic, as we had to do against Hearts as well. We have to sit in at times keep our shape, and then when the time comes where we have the right personnel, the right balance now in the team, that we can then affect the game in their final in our final third. So uh,
What I've been impressed about with Hibs as well is obviously a big part of when you started getting good again was Nicky Cadden
yeah,
coming in. But what's happened then is obviously you've since lost Nicky Cadden again, but you're still playing well.
yeah,
Which tells me that there is a bit more than just one person's delivery. Although he was a big part of what you were doing, obviously,
yeah.
but you managed to adapt. But then like I say, Obita is decent. I'd love to know your thoughts. I've only seen it twice. I I don't think he's looking for Boyle with that pass. I think he's trying to play a pass. I don't think it's a clearance as such, but it's a mishit pass. But again, you talk about luck in a game.
Yeah.
That's you take that all day long.
What he attempted was a forward pass,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and
It's nice
look,
to see.
we have a bit of luck, but look, Boyle's alive, and their defense has switched off, and like he did against kind of Hearts, like he does against Rangers. He scored 7 goals now against Rangers. He never stops running, and he always gambles, and I love that in a player.
Yeah.
He always gambles. You always have to, like Shanklin last season, even if you look at him, a lot of his goals came from just gambling. Right, this ball's actually going to come to me. It might the defender might miss it, the goalkeeper might spill it. I'm there to put it in. You need a player like that.
And it might be that 7 times out of 8 you don't get it,
Absolutely.
but that's fine. But you're still making them turn, making them think, and putting them under a bit of pressure. So, no, listen,
Exactly.
Hibs for me, absolutely good value for money for their win. It is ridiculous what's going on because actually the bigger thing I was thinking about with Hibs is that you and I before the podcast, months ago, were talking about how Hibs could start again with their squad. You could get rid
Yeah,
of everyone and just
yeah,
start again.
yeah.
And it's just crazy that the same group of players are now on this incredible run. But it makes me wonder, like, what do Hibs do now in the summer? What's the right answer there? Have some of them done enough to earn new contracts? Do you still need an overhaul of the squad? Is it sustainable? Are you as good as what you are now? Are you as bad as what you were then? Are you somewhere in the middle? And what is the reality for Hibs?
I think the reality is we definitely need to strengthen in the summer. I think it will depend on where we finish. I think if we do finish third, um, a lot of those players can can stay, but they might not start. Do you know what I mean? I still think we need up to 4 players to come in and be ready for first team football.
Mm.
Um, and then perhaps some of the players that are playing now would be squad in the squad.
It's maybe one to discuss in the summer, but I'm also thinking of we've also seen a lot of players who play a lot better when their contract's about to expire. And I'm not naming names because I don't know the Hibs squad well enough to accuse anyone of that. But you just wonder if something like that would happen there, and what happens
Well,
if they then suddenly get a new 3-year deal.
I'll tell you what needs to happen is we need to keep hold of Martin Boyle.
Hmm.
That has to be our number one priority. That we keep hold of Martin Boyle. If he wants 2 years and he wants to finish his career at Hibs, we should be saying, you know what, we'll make you the highest paid player. You're that important. You're going to be that important to the new crop of players that we're going to get in the summer. He's shown his quality in domestically. That man just has to be given a new deal.
How,
And
how old is Martin Boyle?
he's 32.
Is he right?
But
Okay, but he's got
you,
1 year, one contract left in him.
he's still, for me, he's still fit. He's still quick. He's still like, in fact, his finishing's actually got better.
It has, and I've said a couple of times that there's a big part of Boyle that I've got my doubts about. Obviously, you can't argue with output and goals and all that, but for a long time I thought he was quick. Sorry, I thought he was quick, but not necessarily having a great cross or end product on him. But I saw today he scored 95 goals for Hibs now
Yeah,
across the two spells, and fair enough. And like you say, his finish today was great. It's the sort of finish that um, well, Dessers doesn't score those as we saw in the game and as we've seen in a few games. He
and it's
doesn't
the
score
sort of
them, but
it's
Boyle
the
do.
sort of chance that we usually miss in these games as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, Bowie at Celtic Park.
Yeah, yeah. So he just composed himself, and it's actually a really really nice finish, and obviously they tried to say it was offside, but he's in his own half.
Yeah,
Um, and
yeah.
it was just a really, really nice finish.
No, no, fair play. And actually, just yeah, overall, Hibs fully deserving. So no arguments or debates about that. Hearts game, obviously I was there today. Really frustrating one. It was the sort of one we were all over them for most of the first half. Four or five chances, I'd say two of which were really good chances. One of them, Wilson should have scored, but he's put it wide. I think he should go with his left foot. He goes with his right. Um, Cabangu has a good strike, but it's a good save from the goalie. There's not much you can do about that. Fair play. And then just a couple of other half chances that either way, I honestly think we could have been 2-0 up by the time the red card comes along. I know you and I have spoken about the red card. For me, the difference between that being a yellow and a red is the fact that I don't think there's any contact. I don't think he catches the guy at all. And a big part of the reason I don't think he catches him is the guy holds the wrong leg when he goes down, when he's rolling about that Stevenson. He's holding the wrong leg. So I think if there's contact on that, it's a red. I think without contact, it's a yellow,
I
personally.
think there can be contact though, and the player not be seriously hurt. You know what I mean? Like there can be.
No, but if there's contact, he knows which leg to hold because you would feel it. I'm not saying it doesn't necessarily have to hurt, and he could be making the most of it to get him sent off. Well, I mean, he definitely is. But if you felt even a tap on your leg, you at least know which leg to hold.
Yeah, I don't know, Stuart. I think even taking the green glasses off, I think if you go in like that, you're asking the ref to make a decision. It was a stupid tackle.
No, no,
Why why even
it's
make the
naive.
ref? Why even give the ref that call to make?
No, I mean, it's eagerness, and he's going for the ball. It's naive.
How's he going for the ball when when his legs like look how high it finished?
But he's going for the ball. But do you think he's trying to do the player?
No, I don't know what he's doing to be honest.
I mean, he's clearly going for the ball. The ball was there, and he's on
The
the
ball's not
stretch.
there. The ball's on the ground. The ball's not up like halfway up the guy's leg.
Yeah, but you swing. You're always going to swing through, and it's. I mean, well, I don't know. I think it's crazy to suggest he's doing anything other than going for the ball. That's.
I'm just saying I don't know what he was doing. I'm not
No,
saying he.
it's naive, but what he's doing is stretching for the ball. But sometimes you don't go for a tackle if you're going to be stretching for it. There's absolutely
Betting for
no.
it. It's the pace he's going at, and he ends up getting nowhere near the ball, and that
Again,
for
I mean, that's
red
not true.
card.
It's not true that he's nowhere near the ball. If anything, he gets a little nick on it. It's that I don't. I think this is all. I don't know where this is coming from. He did. He potentially gets a little nick on the ball. He maybe doesn't. I'm not saying he definitely does. But to say he's nowhere, to
I
say
think
he's
you need
nowhere.
to watch it again.
What's that?
I think you need to see it again a few times.
Well, if you want, but I'll just see the same thing. To say he's nowhere near the ball, I think is wild. To say that he's trying to like do the player, wild.
I don't know. You don't know. Only he knows that what he was doing.
But I know, but I think it's clear to see he's on the stretch of the ball, and it's a naive tackle from a striker who's young. So both of those two things is why your tackling technique is not going to be great. Um, but I don't know. I think it's a yellow. I think it's a red if he makes contact, a yellow without contact. Um,
So if you see that there is contact, then you're saying that's a red.
if he gets contact on him, fine, because it is. I can see that the studs are there, and but again,
What about the picture I sent you, where you can see his studs are on the guy's leg?
no, but you can't see the studs on the guy's leg. You can see that his leg and the guy's studs are like here, but you don't know how far apart they are.
Well,
It's
I
it's
watched
a
all the angles that the pundits watched at the end of the game, and they were all saying it's a red.
again. I was hearing pundits say otherwise, so I don't know where this is coming from. I was hearing pundits on the radio saying, for some of them it was a yellow. So like, I get it. I get that I can have maroon glasses on as much as you can have green glasses on. I'm not saying the one thing I do get is why it didn't get overturned. There's definitely not enough to overturn it. I get that. I think it was a yellow in the first place, so because I don't think there's contact. I'm yet to see an angle that makes me think there's definitely contact. And a blurry photo from 50 yards away is not.
Well, your manager's looked at it, and he was angry at the time, and he's looked at it again, and he said it's a red.
Okay, fine, his opinion.
So
But I generally I thought it was a yellow. I think it's naive, and I think there's wild claims about. That's the first I've heard about nowhere near the ball and things like that.
I
I've
didn't
never
think he
heard
was
that.
near the ball.
Hmm?
I don't think he was near the ball.
Happy to both watch it again. He's definitely not far away from the ball or potentially gets a nick on it.
He
No,
definitely,
and
he
again,
definitely gets no nick on it.
no, again, but even if he does get a nick on it, I'm not saying it makes it not a foul or anything like that. But he's genuinely this close to getting the ball. It was 100% there, and the guy's got to it ahead of him. But anyway, look, regardless, we obviously disagree on that, and that might be it might be tinted glasses in either direction. But that obviously changed the game. I then still think after that we were still the better team, even with 10 men. Dundee United were time wasting after 15 minutes, taking their time with goal kicks and throw-ins. Everything was just lumping it up to we both and I have spoken about Dalby as decent. I actually didn't think he was up to much today. I know he scored, but his overall game was, I don't know, it was pretty lousy to be honest.
That's what he does,
Um,
though. He's anonymous for most of the game, and then just header.
no. And it was a well taken header. It's poor defending on our part. Steinwender makes a poor clearance, but I actually think it's a poor pass from Forrester to him. It's bouncing up to him, and if he tries to take a touch, they're on him. He tries to just then get rid of it, but he kind of shanks it a little bit. It looks bad from him, but I actually blame Forrester for it. Um, so I don't know. I just a few things going against us today, and whether the red card is one of them or not. It's just the fact we could have been 2-0 up by the time the red card comes along, and suddenly that's a different game at that point. So um, I know I'd predicted us to win today. Obviously, that changes in the 40th minute or whenever it was. So just a frustrating one. But the one thing that actually bothered me more today, and again, take the red card out of it, Nick Walsh is just the typical centre of attention referee that
He's
so many
anonymous.
of them want to be.
We could agree on that.
I've got no time for him whatsoever. Bad refs I can understand. I don't like it, but I can understand it. But he actually just comes across like there's no time for him at all whatsoever. Um, but anyway, that'll change next week or whenever he next gives Hearts a penalty or something like that. So frustrating. But it's still in our hands. We had good results for us yesterday in terms of the teams below us. So top six is still in our hands. Beat Motherwell next week and we're there.
And they can also get top six, so they've something to play for as
No,
well.
absolutely. It's a playoff in some ways, but then St Mirren are also in the mix. So if it's a draw and St Mirren win, they get top six.
Yeah,
Um, in fact, that's the only way they get top six.
yeah.
So here's hoping. Well, here's hoping we do the job ourselves, which would takes us on to next week. Obviously we've got Motherwell away. Um, again, I think they've been in really bad form recently. Even the new guys come in, Vimmer, and I think there was initial signs that things were going well, but speaking to a few well, not sorry, speaking to reading a few Motherwell fans stuff online, they're not they're not particularly confident. They're not happy with him, or maybe not happy with him is a bit harsh, but they're not happy with how things are going at the minute. So ultimately, if we fail to win that one, then we'll get what we deserve probably, and that'll be bottom six.
Mm. Um, I have backed Hearts most of the season to get top six, and certainly the last few games because of the run they've been on. But I, I don't know. So I thought they would wrap it up today. I thought Dundee United. I've seen them up close. They're awful. But they somehow managed to get results. Um,
But I mean, on that, like again, it's hard. It's bad that I mean, the red card makes a big difference. But even still, for me, we deserve to win today in terms of the balance of play. Um, they had no chances outside of the goal, and we've had four, five, six chances at least in the game.
no, I know, but I talk back to when Hibs were on that terrible run. The amount of games within that we deserved to win, and we just chucked it in like the 90th minute or the 93rd minute, or you don't always get what you deserve in football.
No, no,
And
100%.
it's just I've got a nagging feeling that Motherwell. It'd be different if Motherwell had nothing to play for. I think that's going to be a draw, and I think St Mirren are going to win.
Um, I mean, it could happen, obviously. No, I'd still back us to go to Motherwell and win. Um, I mean, I think, like I said, we could have won today and should have won today anyway. But certainly with 11 men, I think we win that game today and it's all over. I get that we could also get a man sent off next week, so we could get two men sent off. obviously these things can happen, so you're having to go on probabilities. And I think we probably win next weekend.
Okay.
Oh, but Hibs, have you decided who they've got next weekend?
Yeah. Kilmarnock, no, Dundee. We've Dundee
You,
up the road.
you just played Kilmarnock the other week as well. Should
I don't know where I got that from in the last pod. Anyway, Dundee at Easter Road. Um, Really, all we've got to worry about is Simon Murray.
Oh yeah,
He's on fire.
and fair play to him.
You got another two at the weekend, and
Yeah.
you know the the man's on fire, literally. Um,
Literally.
yeah, he's here. Um, I don't know. I think we'll win. I think we'll win. We'll have a fully fit Nicky Cadden back to come into the squad as
Oh,
well.
he is back, is he?
Yeah, we didn't need him on Saturday. He was in the squad, but
Hmm.
we didn't need him. Yeah, I think we'll do the business at home because we have to keep winning. Aberdeen and Dundee United, they're not letting up either. So we need to do our bit. And
If anything, they picked up a wee bit.
yeah, exactly. And hopefully Aberdeen do their usual and get pumped off Rangers, and we beat Dundee and we go into the split with a 4 point lead over Aberdeen. That would be nice. So I can't see Aberdeen beating Rangers or Celtic. Our record versus them is kind of 50-50. So it might come down to that game, but it would be nice. And in some ways, I was discussing this with a few of the Hibs lads, and we were discussing, do we want Hearts in the top six or not? A couple don't, because they're like, if Hearts have the chance to stop us getting third, like that would just be really annoying, even though you would have taken fourth. Like
Oh, of course.
even a few weeks ago, you would have said, right, fourth, we'll take it. But the way it's going, we want
Yeah,
third and we're in pole position for it. Um, but could we also seal third against Hearts? Could we also go to Tynecastle with third maybe wrapped up and have a party there? This depending on how the fixtures fall. So I'm kind of in the middle. I'd always go with I'd like another derby because
yeah,
I want to go to it as
yeah,
well. I've missed
yeah,
the
yeah,
last couple through injury, so I would always want another derby rather than like you
yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
St Mirren.
No, of course, it gives us something to talk about as well. But yeah, no, I think we obviously want to be in the top six anyway. But we would want even if it was the other way around, we'd want Hibs in there because we need a crack at us again. We've not done well against you this season, so we need to get that result and put that right. I guess even if obviously we're not going to catch you now, I think we'd do well to even catch Dundee United. Um,
What are they? 8 points ahead? No,
uh,
7 because we're
seven, I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
we're 11.
yeah.
So
Oh, it'd be incredible if we caught you. I can't see that happening at all.
no, we're 3 points ahead of them. No, they're 8 points ahead. So yeah, like you'll be doing well.
No, no, I get that. But the thing is, I saw a lot of things on Twitter as well. Like Hibs fans were cutting into Hearts fans because there was just a moment in like February or something like that when, depending on a couple of results, it would have been really tight. Obviously, we've had a couple of defeats since then, and Hibs have just kept going. And Hibs fans are like, oh, you're all getting. I don't think anyone was getting ahead of themselves. Everyone was just saying if we can beat them at the weekend.
I mean, that's football, though, isn't it? Like
No, it is. It is. I think I don't know. I'd pick my battles a bit more than that. I don't think that
fans
was.
are fans are fickle, mate.
Fans,
And
fans are fickle. No, no, I absolutely agree with that.
even like I was having an argument with Rocky Bashiri's brother.
You were having an argument with Rocky
Well,
Bashiri's
not an
brother.
argument, but he put up that he was like you need to support Hibs through thick and thin, and like we've just beat Rangers at Ibrox, and I was like to him, Hibs were rightly criticised. We were bottom of the league and on like one of the worst runs in our like history. So quite rightly, the fans were criticising Rocky and the team, and
Yeah,
I
but
said,
he was awful for a while.
and I was like, but on the other hand, Rocky's been a big part of the team, kind of the run, and the fans have stuck with the team, and like now we're all kind of together. And I was like, just enjoy it. Like, why are you like trying to sound out Hibs fans on Twitter?
Calling him out for something they said 7 months ago.
That was legit. I
Oh,
stand by
yeah,
it.
no, absolutely. Like Rocky Bashiri, he was a punchline to jokes. He was awful, and
Not
and
even that.
and we've
The Hibs
you and I.
teamwork. The Hibs
Hmm?
teamwork. it wasn't just Rocky. The whole Hibs
No, I
team
know.
after
But
soccer.
because like Rocky can look a bit calamitous at times,
Yeah,
it makes it funnier. But he's you and I have both said how good he's been recently. Like,
absolutely. And again on you know on Saturday it was solid, absolutely solid. So I think there's a few in there, and obviously when maybe the split comes, or maybe when we do when we know where everyone's going to finish, we can kind of look ahead in terms of who we should keep and
aye, transfers
the
anyway.
areas we need to strengthen. But Rocky's a guy that I start of the season I was like, get him out.
Yeah,
I'm like, I wouldn't be you know disappointed if he kept them.
mhm,
Um, there are other players that I would keep first, such as maybe offer Nicky Cadden a new deal, although I think he's got 2 years left.
yeah.
Um, Martin Boyle has to be tied down, unless these players don't want to stay, unless they've eyes on another move, and don't keep them. Like we've that boy, what's his name? The Dutch
McCurdy.
striker
All right.
Zente.
Oh
We've
yeah.
Venti out on loan, and he's doing really well in the I want to say the Dutch league, but anyway, he's doing really well anyway. Abroad, he's banging them in, and there's a few Hibs fans saying, you know, we want him back, but he's publicly said he doesn't want to come back. So like,
Did that.
we should just be selling him
Yeah.
for the highest price, maybe make a bit of profit, and that's it. Because I don't want anyone, no matter how good they are, even if it is Martin Boyle, if they don't want to stay at Hibs and they don't see their future at Hibs in the summer or whatever, and we're offering a contract, see you later.
Yeah. And some of them, I mean, sometimes you get a player who says that, and you're like, no, fair enough. We've got a great service out you. You think you maybe got another payday elsewhere. Then okay,
That's fine.
understood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, no,
But
absolutely.
it doesn't change your decision of
See
right. See you later.
you later. So anyway, so Hibs Dundee predictions, sure.
Nah, Hibs, 2-1. Simon Murray scores for.
And for Hibs,
Oh, who cares? But Simon Murray,
right.
he scored for Hearts the other week, so that was good.
I think we'll beat them 3-0.
3-0. So you don't see Murray causing enough problems.
No, we'll keep him quiet.
The Sheedy.
I already own Bashiri will take care of him. Um,
Mother of
uh,
Hearts.
1-1,
2-1 Hearts.
1-1, and Hearts to heartbreakingly miss out on the top six like Hibs did under Johnson.
Oh
Was it under
God.
Johnson? I'm like, I don't know if it was under Johnson. Anyway, I was there with my dad, and it was away, and it was for top six, and we just had to beat Motherwell, and
I
they
I um I
equalised
remember.
in the 93rd minute or
I
something like
remember that. Yeah.
that. So I hope that happens to you, to Hearts, because it's
No,
sickening.
it wasn't us, mate. We didn't do
I
it.
don't care. I don't care. I want Hearts fans to feel that.
Oh, thanks, mate. Well, always good to catch up.
Although no, I don't, because I want a derby, so I can't have it both ways. But anyway, I'm never
Well,
going
you
to say
could
what
St.
Hearts
Mirren. You
fans.
could if St. Mirren lose.
True, true.
Oh, no, actually, you're not getting the feeling. Anyway, I appreciate the sentiment. Right, Robert. We'll catch up next week. We'll find out what's happened and go through the games then.
Okay, mate. Thanks very much.
See you then.
See you later.